Oh, so okay, yeah.
Okay, so I'm here with a good friend of mine. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about what he's doing and what he does. He was speaking to some MPs in the House of Parliament, and he's going to be going to a university in London at some point next month. And then we're talking about some stuff that's quite important, and it's things that practices that were taking place but were not being made aware of. So if you introduce yourself, tell us your name.
So my name's Noel Gordon, and I featured in a documentary called Subnormal: A British Scandal that came out in May 2021. It's available on BBC iPlayer. It's about the school system. When our parents came from the Caribbean, mine came from Jamaica, and they were invited to come and work in the UK. They're working at RAF base, which is where I was born. So at the age of 4, I had my teeth out, and they said I had a reaction. Let's give me a blood transfusion. And so my parents got this thing called sickle cell. At the time, my parents didn't know what it was because they had 8 children, no issues. I'm the last one. I got these issues. So at the age of 6, a guy comes to my house and he says, I've got this condition. So they put me in a school where there's a matron. My mum thinks, okay, all right then. It's a boarding school. It's like 15 miles from home. They'll pick me up on a Monday, bring me back on a Friday. And out of the blue, this guy goes, he's dunce. My mum goes, yeah, school sorted out, don't worry about it. What he was alluding to, they were putting me in a school for subnormal children. I was there for 10 years. My parents fought tooth and nail to get me out, but things just didn't work out the way they expected them to. Because in them days, they fob you off, and because my parents didn't quite know how to navigate, I was there for 10 years. No education, no curriculum. Also suffered from sickle cell. Got beat up when I was 12 by a part-time worker. Called me a black bastard, hit me over there for no reason. And that point onwards, my parents didn't want to get me out. The thing is, it just didn't work the way they expected it to work. It's a long story, this. I didn't get boarded for the next 4 years. An arrangement was made to send me to a part-time school, secondary school, normal school.
Yeah.
The problem is I got to walk from my boarding school down to the special school.
Yeah.
It wasn't very far, but I'm the odd one out. I'm there twice a week. I get called nigger. Didn't like it. I couldn't really engage because I'm coming from a special school with no curriculum, so no education. They put me in a normal class.
Yeah.
They give me a handout to read. I couldn't read that.
Yeah.
So eventually I stopped going. Then one of the teachers, the deputy headmistress, bullies me for the next 4 years because she thinks I'm lying about them calling me a black bastard. So this is a campaign we've got going now. And we need as many people to sign a petition when it becomes available next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot to cover, a lot to talk about, but it's basically about abuse. It's really child abuse.
Yeah.
It did to a lot of black children during the 70s, 60s and 70s and 80s. So we were subnormal when we weren't.
Okay.
And a lot of us carrying trauma.
Yeah.
And I leaving school, not able to get proper jobs, apart from labouring and cleaning. I couldn't fill out forms. Couldn't write properly, couldn't spell.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite interesting.
It's very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and there's obviously we are living in a different time in terms of what things were like in the 1970s. I'm 51, so I have some knowledge about schooling and education in the 70s.
Yeah, you would do because I'm 58. It's not much different.
Yeah, and then for many people, it's a bygone era, so they're not aware of a lot of the things that were taking place and a lot of the trauma as well that was exhibited. You know, So where are you going to be talking?
Well, hopefully we have a talk coming up at the end of the month, end of November, at Goldsmiths University.
Okay.
Over in Lewisham. The dates haven't been confirmed yet, but we're looking towards the end of the month.
End of the month.
End of the month. Okay. Yeah. So when the date's available, when it's been confirmed, I can come out and give a chat about the event because it's about updating people.
Yeah.
Also, BBC Radio 4 interviewed me and Maisie, which is a documentary. And they look at it from a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
It's all about eugenics.
Yeah.
The eugenics saying that black people were stupid.
Yeah.
And it fell out of favour after World War II.
Yeah.
With Hitler. Because he was killing not just Jews, Roma, Gypsies, black men and women were being gassed as well.
Yeah.
So it's the same principle, same eugenics.
Yes.
But the British government continued it in the school system.
Mm-hmm.
And these academics on the radio interview highlight all this, how it came about, how it's affecting people today. 'Cause we're not adults, so we've got children. If you
Yeah.
can't read and write, you can't interact with your children.
Yeah. Of course, of course.
So
And I know that with the Windrush community, I know that it was government policy
yeah,
to educate Caribbean children for vocational disciplines and to allow children from Africa to be educated in academic capacity, not for the benefit of them, but for the benefit that they could, when those African countries became independent,
yeah.
those African children could be the administrative
Administrators, yeah, yeah. The go
the
between.
administration behind those African countries.
Yeah.
So they did encourage African children to be academic, but for their own purposes. And likewise, they encourage Caribbean children to take on vocational work and to take on apprenticeships
Yeah.
and not be academic because they wanted them to replace the working class,
Yeah, the workers,
white
yeah.
working class labor force.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was an agenda with the educational system and what the educational system was trying to do. And these are things that are not necessarily discussed. And even if you look at today in Africa, you can see where a lot of the African countries where a lot of the politicians were educated abroad.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the
Yeah.
politicians who are siphoning off the country's resources, taking money out of the country. A lot of these guys are very highly educated,
Yeah.
but they were educated in France, Belgium, and the UK,
Yeah, and Oxford,
and
Cambridge.
Oxford, and places like that.
Yeah,
So this is all a strategy and agenda.
there's definitely an agenda behind it.
Definitely an agenda behind
Yeah.
it. You know.
Because what was really interesting about what they did to us, my generation, if you came from Bangladesh,
Yeah.
they would give them remedial lessons because
Yes.
they know they spoke a different language.
Yes.
But if you're coming from the Caribbean and you're
Yes.
speaking Patois or
Yes.
Creole, right? They're not going to give you no remedial lessons,
Yeah.
and that's an issue because they know full well that they're speaking English, but it's a spoken English.
Yes.
But they
yes.
took
yes.
but they took that to mean that they were backward.
Yeah. Of course. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. Interesting topic. Interesting discussion. And I'd like to take this up
Yeah, definitely.
further.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
If I can't actually get to Goldsmiths at some other point, we'd like to definitely take this up further.
We can meet up different
Yeah.
venues and stuff and go into more
You know.
details
Definitely go into more detail about this.
because we're at a point in our history now in our development that we can actually hold the British government accountable for what
Yes.
they've done.
Yeah.
This is what the petition's about, and
Yeah.
other groups are being recognised
Yes.
and compensated. So why not us?
Yes.
And we know because we're a black group, we're way back
Yeah.
of the queue.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they were doing it to white working class children as well.
Yeah.
They did it to them as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose, but they're not really interested in the working class, the British government.
No.
So when you get together and you start to build up a movement,
Yeah.
and you've got the numbers,
Yeah.
you can swing votes and all that, then they're interested.
Of course. Okay. Interesting talking to you, Noel, and we will pick this up again
Yeah,
at
yeah.
some point.
Yeah. Respect, man.
All right.
Yeah.